Adventure of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Yo, it's the Pipeman, and I'm very excited about our next guest. We're going a little north of me. Of course, most everything is north of me. Here I am. But with some great music. And, man, this is new music that's been waited by fans for a while, and I'm so excited about it. So let's welcome to the show Duncan from Vertigo. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to this.
Hey, my pleasure, and we will prevail.
Absolutely.
So I just wanted to say right off the bat, I thought it was really cool that your guys, if I read correctly, your first show this year was on Canada Day.
Yes, we were in Strathmore, this little town just outside the city of Calgary, we've played at a brewery there a few times, and it was great. It was a awesome time.
Yeah, so one of my co-hosts on my live show, and she also has a show on another show on our network. She lives up in Calgary, so she's always very excited that when I have guests from Canada.
Oh, that's awesome. That's good to hear.
Especially when it's about that area. And I do a lot of them because, you know what? There's so much great music up there. Like, everybody likes to talk about the U.S. and Europe, but, man, there is so much good music in Canada. And, I kind of look at kind of like the Scandinavian countries. Sometimes it's just so freaking cold there, but you have nothing better to do but make great music.
That's absolutely the thing. Like, there is pretty much nothing better to do. Yeah, you think about some of the prairie provinces like Manitoba and stuff, and like, what else are you going to do with your time? It's great.
Right. And then I'm always amazed at the bands that could sound like they have as many members as Slipknot and only will have like 2 or 3 people in the band. Like, I mean, everybody knows Rush, of course, but there's a perfect example. How much music comes out of 3 people?
Yeah, and that's always been a big focus for us. We've been largely a one guitar band our whole existence. During the recording of Prevail and the upcoming EP, we had another guitar player, Brandon Haddow, but it's always been sound as big as possible with as little instrumentation as possible. Definitely a focus for us.
So tell us a little bit about your music, how you, the artist, would explain it to the listeners who have never heard you before, besides the bullshit genre stuff that everybody likes to lump artists into.
Yeah, we do definitely try to bring in as much influence from the different genres and whatever. We're a rock and roll band, but we love everything else. And it's really just, we're trying to keep it real, you know, like we're 4 guys jamming in a basement, writing songs together. We couldn't do backing tracks at our live shows if we had to. We would have no idea how to do it. And it's just, just raw, real rock and roll, the way people did it in the old days.
I love that you said rock and roll, because to me, nowadays there's so many subgenres and micro genres, and it's all just rock and roll, man. If it's in the rock genre, it's all just rock and roll. And like, why do we have to put these labels and box artists in, you know? And I think there's a resurgence now of rock and roll, meaning just people that are musicians playing great music, opposed to whatever formulas have been put out there these days that make rock or hard rock or metal. Like, None of those three areas should ever have a formula.
Totally, I'm right there with you. And music it works in cycles, right? And it sucks for a while, and then it all comes back around at some point. And I think we've got that going on right now.
Yeah, I love that because I hear it in yours, and there's other bands that I've seen at festivals that, man, it reminds me of rock in the 70s or the 60s where, it was just about the music, like you said, with the backing tracks. Not that backing tracks are bad. I just think that's not rock and roll. I think rock and roll is about musicianship.
Totally. It's not our thing. And you don't want to hear your song sound exactly like it does on the record. You want it to evolve, and you want happy accidents to happen, and you want it to be just kind of on the edge of disaster all the time, right? And that's definitely where we live.
And it's funny because, see, that's another thing about rock and live music. Live music should not sound like tape. It should have flaws. It should have mistakes. Even with my radio shows, sometimes I'll make mistakes. Everybody does. I'm like, I tell the engineer, fuck it, keep it in there, man. Make it real. Like, unless it's something like really, really bad, like a dropped internet or whatever, like just keep that shit in there. So what? I fucked up.
It's live. That's what it's all about,
right?
Yeah, we're totally from that school of doing things.
It's so real and it's so fun. I was just telling a story yesterday on an interview about in 1983, Van Halen headlining the US Festival and David Lee Roth forgetting the words to Ain't Talking About Love. And instead of like trying to fake it, he just yelled to 300,000 people, I fucking forgot the words, and they cheered.
I love moments like that. It's great, right? You know, that's the kind of thing that sticks with you.
No doubt, and like, I see other bands nowadays, if they don't have their tracking in their tracks or their laptops or whatever, they can't do a show. Like, whereas, like, there's this band I really like that plays a lot of the festivals I cover called Bad Flower. And one time, Josh, the lead singer, he had laryngitis. So he came out anyway. And he had the audience sing the songs for him. And they just they played it like without without singing, and then the whole audience was singing the songs, and it was great. It was a once in a lifetime experience. Instead of, if you go see the same band like 6 times within a year, it's the exact same show sometimes.
Yeah. I don't think we played the same show twice ever, right? It's the best part.
I prefer the Grateful Dead way, where every show is different. You never know which one to expect, And
yeah, absolutely.
To me, that's rock and roll too. It's like, I think the musicians should play what they feel at the moment, because otherwise they would just be dialing it in. If they're really being a musician and they're really like having fun with what they're doing, you never know what might happen.
Yeah, that's the way we do things. And I love electronic music, and I love a lot of the modern rock and metal and stuff, and it's great, but just it's not what we do.
Yeah, and I like a lot of different stuff too. I just think the same as you. Like, everybody's got to be unique and do their own thing.
Absolutely.
That's what makes you a musician. It's like I've told the story a few times. When I first started playing guitar, my dad, like, he goes, "You better quit that because you don't know what the hell you're doing." And what I was really just doing is I was just trying to find out what sounds I could make on that thing. Like, I wasn't trying to play a song or notes. I was just like, what can I do that'll be different and not like this boring scale shit?
That's awesome.
Exactly what I was thinking, because every guitarist, when they first start playing, they hate doing that whole scale thing. You have to kind of do it sometimes. But it's also fun to just say, I wonder what happens if I do this, And
absolutely.
I think that's what's happened with the greatest guitarists. Listen, we just lost Ozzy, but Black Sabbath would have never existed if it weren't for Tony figuring out a different way to play the guitar.
Yes, absolutely. I'm a music teacher myself, and I use Tony's story constantly, right? Just using your, your limitations and the things that happen to fuel you, to just make the next thing happen. And that's incredible.
Right? I mean, it formed a new genre that like is one of the most memorable bands ever in history. He could have gone two ways. He could have gone, oh no, I can't ever play guitar again. And I'm a motivational speaker too, so I love that story because it's just,
absolutely.
No matter, it's not what happens to you, it's what you do with it.
Absolutely. I like that. I'm using that. I'm stealing it.
There you go. It's so true. And Black Sabbath is the result of that. And even Ozzy, like, look at Ozzy. He really couldn't even sing well, to be honest, but he has that unique voice and he just loved what he was doing. And I was just reading something today of, it's rare that you have a band like Sabbath come once in a lifetime, but somebody to create two mega things like, okay, he's out of Sabbath now, how many people go into solo careers and it's not nearly as big, but he created two huge phenomenons. Like,
yeah, totally.
Like, how often does that happen? That's why you can only give him respect. And he admitted, he admitted many times he didn't know how to sing. He didn't know how to play an instrument, but he just loved music. And I think that's the most important part, because if you don't love what you're doing in this industry, you're in the wrong industry, right?
For sure.
So tell us. Go ahead.
Sorry.
No.
And yeah, just the Ozzy thing, like just seeing how excited he is to be on stage all the time. That's kind of one thing I've taken away from him constantly. He's so stoked to be up there.
Oh, no doubt. Like, I've said for years now that he's not going to retire, because if he retired, he would pass away. And I kind of figured that was going to happen after this last show, because he did his last raw. He gave it everything that he had. Like, oh my God, I think it's the best he's sounded in years, to be honest, and just like he went out on his own terms.
For sure.
So what else do you guys got coming up throughout the year here? And let's talk a little bit more about the new EP and everything you want the listeners to know about.
We are still putting together some release shows for the EP, so no concrete shows quite yet. But we are following Prevail up with a new EP right away, so you won't have to wait 5 years for new music again. And we've just been, writing, doing our own things. We're focusing on solo music. The band itself is we're not hugely active right now, but we're all busy doing each other's projects and things. So, but there is new Vertigo music coming up right away, which is going to be great.
Oh yeah, definitely exciting. And how do people connect to you guys on socials, on the web? Check out all your stuff and, be updated for when you do shows and you do release new music.
Our Facebook and our Instagram are the most active, and you can find them both at Get in Vertigo, all one word. And that's probably the best place to find us. Nice.
And so what else would you want to share with the listeners that we haven't covered already?
We are dropping a new music video for the track Weathervane tomorrow. So that'll be going live on Rockshot Records YouTube page tomorrow. We'll be posting all about it. And it came together great. So hopefully you check it out.
Nice. And what got you started in this anyway? Like,
well, me personally, I played music. Like I had to, play piano as a kid, and I hated it. And I only really got serious about it when I started having friends who were musicians. Right, I had buddies who were taking it seriously, and just like, oh, I want to do that. Like my first musical heroes were the guy sitting beside me in band class, and just kind of took it from there. And I was 19 or 20 and I met our guitar player, Shaddy. We were playing a Michael Jackson tribute show. It was 2009 when he passed away. And we just, started band after band, project after project, and landed on In Vertigo. We've been playing together for 10 years. We Reed, our singer, his old band played with our old band years ago, and we were looking for a singer, and they stumbled upon each other like, oh, I remember you. And then we poached our drummer from our booking agent, and it's one of those, you know, the perfect group of guys at the perfect time sort of thing. Just total magic.
See, I love hearing that stuff because, you know, most bands do have a past, you know, and in that past, you never know where it's going to lead you, but it generally leads you to this story that you're saying. Like, you know, somehow you get connected to 6 degrees of separation.
Yes.
And then that's the magic.
Yeah. Yeah. When the two of us met Reed the singer, like that evening when we just met up to talk about plans and goals and stuff, I think we were all just like, yeah, I'm starting a band with this guy. It was just instant, like, you know it's going to happen.
See, it's like with Ozzy when Randy was tuning up, Ozzy's like, you're hired.
Yeah, absolutely. It's exactly like that. We were just so on the same page and wanting the same things, and even though we're, you know, this weird amalgamation of influences and stuff, we want to do the same thing, and it's great.
Well, see, I love that part too, and I say it a lot. You know, going back to what I was saying about formulas and stuff like that. That's why I love when everybody in the band brings something different to the table, because that's how we get the uniqueness nowadays. You know, because there's so many genres that's the only way to get unique. You know, it's not like a Black Sabbath where you are the only one doing it. Yeah. Now you bring in all these other people, and it creates something that really says in Vertigo. It doesn't say anything else. You know,
and the fun part is figuring that out. Like, we're still figuring out what that means, and we're just trying stuff, matching things together, coming up with ideas, and it's the best.
I love it. Well, I love your enthusiasm about it, and I also want to ask, how does it feel playing on both sides? Meaning, you're playing music, but you're also teaching it too.
It's interesting because, like, they're making me better at both things, but like I have to approach stuff from a different brain. Like when you're performing, you can't think, right? You're just like, just do it. It's all automatic. It's all autopilot. And then teaching, it's the complete opposite, right? I'm breaking down every single little detail. Like, oh, I see, like you're doing this thing with your hand, right? And it's weird, like coming from a long day teaching to playing a show, I gotta like become a different person, right? It's just I have to make my brain work differently, and I'm figuring that out. But it is definitely something I've thought about a lot.
That's why I asked that, because it's like you're switching hats. A lot of people might think, oh, well, that's just makes sense, that's normal, but no, it's like a different mindset doing the two different things. You know?
And it's like complete polar opposites, right? One can get in the way of the other if you let it.
Yeah, totally. And, you know, it's similar to like being a motivational speaker. That person isn't usually on the radio. There's radio me and there's speaker me. And they are different because one, you're doing on stage for people, and one, you're playing a role. When you're on the radio, you're kind of playing a role, and, you know, it's not so serious, and it's not, you know, the worst thing you could do is do a seminar on the radio, bore people to death, you know? So, you know, and for me, it's like this switch turns on. As soon as the mic turns on, or as soon as I get up on stage, there's a switch. And I don't even control that switch. It's like it just happened. And, you know, it's like same thing too. People don't realize that so many artists get stage fright before they go up on stage. And same for me. Like, I'm like, the whole time before, if I'm doing a speaking gig, and I the whole time before, I'm thinking to myself what I'm going to say. And I'm like all nervous. And the minute I step on that stage and the mic turns on, all that goes out the window. And like you said, it's like autopilot, because you're being you. Like when you're playing, in my opinion, you're being you, authentically you. But when you're teaching other people, it can't just be you. It has to be them too, and understanding what they do, what they need, what they want, and that they may learn differently than you. And not everybody has that capability to put themselves in somebody else's shoes like that.
Yeah, it's definitely something that's kind of, wrestled with a whole bunch and just had to figure out. And it's great because it's made me better at both things, right? Just having to
they feed off of each other.
Yeah, totally.
I bet you too, probably sometimes when you have, taught students that sometimes they've taught you.
Oh, definitely. So I have a few that are just straight up way better than me. So just directly like, oh, that's a smart way to do that. And then, just sometimes they make me think differently, or they ask a question that I'm like, oh, I never really thought about that or thought about it that way before. And 100%, I learn as much as they are in a lesson. It's great. That's
so cool. I love it. Well, your music's badass. Everybody's got to check it out or they can't listen to my show anymore. And thanks a lot for being on the Adventures of Pipeman.
Thanks so much. This has been great.
Absolutely. Anytime.
All right. I'll catch you later.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.